A very warm welcome you all for the discussion about NMR spectroscopy. This is prescribed for BSc 6 SEM organic paper 2 um, syllabus. So, in which I would like to cover the basic aspects of nuclear magnetic resonance spectra and shielded and deshielded protons and its identifications, chemical shifts, and spin splitting and peak area, uh, and again mapping of non-equivalent hydrogens with certain examples and coupling constants. These are all the fundamentals of nuclear magnetic resonance spectra. So, which is very important while solving the structure of particular given molecule. Okay, so NMR spectroscopy helps to identify the functional group which are present on the molecule. So there are many types of NMR spectroscopies are there. That means the of atom, nuclei of atoms with an odd number of protons or neutrons have a permanent magnetic field, have permanent magnetic moment, isn't it? So, therefore, um for such molecule, one could record nuclear magnetic resonance spectrum. So, there are many odd number of proton or neutron atoms are available. So, which are one hydrogen, three hydrogens, and 15 nitrogens. Okay, um, and again um, 19 fluorine, and these are all, I mean, um, nuclei of atoms with odd number of protons or neutrons. Okay, so as far as the DSC 6 SEM syllabus, only a proton NMR spectroscopy is there. Therefore, that concern, I would like to cover the basic aspects and detailed discussion about proton NMR in this presentation. Okay, let me discuss first with NMR spectroscopy only. Um, by far, the most important and useful techniques to identify organic molecule, I mean, is NMR spectroscopy only. Often, the only technique is necessary also. Remember, so the NMR spectrum can be recorded for many different nuclei. That means they need to have magnetic properties. So, what are the types of molecule, or what are the types of, um, atoms? Um, one could record the nuclear magnetic spectrum. Remember, only those, that means nuclei of atoms with an odd number of protons or neutrons have permanent magnetic moments. Okay, and the quantized nuclear spin states. This means that these types of atoms behave as though they are a small magnet spinning on an axis. Okay, placing these type of atoms in a very strong magnetic field separates them into two groups. Okay, those that align with the applied field, and another one is those that align against the applied field. So therefore, after the application of magnetic field, I mean strong magnetic field, the nuclear spins of atoms, get separated. I mean alpha states and beta states. Remember, so alpha means they are parallelly aligned. Okay, they are aligned along the applied magnetic field. So another one is aligned against the applied field. The direction of nuclear spin is opposite to that of direction of the applied field. That is called beta state. Okay. So the alpha state to beta state transitions. That means to flip alpha nuclei to beta state nuclei, we require certain energy. That means I mean, that is what delta E. Okay. Suppose if we fulfill or supply sufficient amount of energy to flip the nuclei, then only one could observe nuclear magnetic resonance. Otherwise, not. Okay. So the NMR spectrum can be recorded for many different nuclei like uh, 1 protons, 3 protons, 13 carbon, 15 nitrogen, 19 fluorine and 31 phosphorus. Okay. So now we will focus only on proton NMR here because the BSc 6M organic paper 2, the proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy is prescribed in the KUD syllabus. That is why we are only focusing on proton NMR here. Okay. Introductions. So the nuclei of atoms with an odd number of protons or neutrons have permanent magnetic moments. Okay, and the quantized nuclear spin states. So this means that these types of atoms behave as though they are a small magnet spinning on an axis. Placing these type of atoms in a very strong magnetic field separates them into two groups. As I told, the first one is aligned with the applied field, that is what alpha spin state. So the field created by the electromagnet of the instruments. Okay, then those are that are align against the applied field, that is beta spin state. Okay, align against the applied field takes more energy than the align with the applied field. When the sample is irradiated with radio waves, radio frequency, energy is quantitatively absorbed by the odd number of nuclei, and those aligned with the field will flip to align against the field. So because of that, the resonance takes place. Depending upon the environment in which the proton is located, slightly more or less energy necessary to create the flip. So that means uh, environment in the sense your hydrogen is attached with electronegative atoms like Cl, like oxygen, like nitrogen. Okay, so it will influencing on the I mean uh, energy requirement of the molecules. Okay, thus the radio waves of varying frequencies are needed. So this is all about introductions. Okay, as I told in the beginning, the nucleus with odd atomic number or odd mass number has nuclear spins. That means these spinning, charged nucleus generate magnetic field. That means that is what loop of current around these charged I mean uh, nucleus. Remember, so suppose if we placing these type of charged nucleus in a very strong magnetic field, separates them into two groups, those that align with the applied field and those that are aligned against the field. Okay, so this could be observed in spinning protons only. Remember, so in this, presentations have clearly mentioned. Okay, so these, spinning protons, spinning charged nucleus generate magnetic field as like bar magnets. Okay, remember. So that is what the nuclei of atom with an odd atomic number of protons or neutrons have permanent magnetic moments and quantized nuclear spin states. Okay, this means that these type of atoms behaves as though they are a small magnets spinning on an axis. Okay, so placing these type of atoms in a very strong magnetic field, they separate, okay, into two groups. One is alpha states and another one is beta states. This kind of, observations, this nuclear magnetic moment, spectroscopy or spectrum is observed only for nucleus with an odd atomic number or odd mass numbers, because they has a nuclear spins. Okay. Okay. An external magnetic field V0 applies a force to the small bar magnet. That means if we keep bar magnet under the external magnetic field, it will twist. Okay. So twisting the bar magnet to align it with the external field. Arrangement of bar magnet aligned with the field is lower energy level, lower energy state, that is alpha. Then the arrangement aligned against the field. Aligned with the field means aligned with the field in the sense, um, so north positions to south of applied field, south to north. This is aligned with the field. Okay, so usually this type of arrangements are having lower energy states. They are more stable also, because unlike poles are usually attract each other, isn't it? So that requires less energy. Okay, suppose if we twist like south to south and north to north, it requires much energy, because they repel each other, because like poles are usually repel each other. Therefore, it requires to flip in that directions needs the higher energy. Therefore, this will be the beta state. Okay. So then the earlier only, the lower energy state with proton aligned with the field is called alpha states, as like your bar magnet. Okay, the higher energy state with proton aligned against the external field. This one. So the direction of applied field is upward. The direction of nuclear spin is downward. These two are opposite each other, isn't it? So therefore, it requires, to flip this, uh, to flip the nuclear spin needs much energy rather than aligned parallelly with the applied field. Okay, so this one is alpha states. This one is beta state. Alpha states are usually having lower energy level. Alpha states are collectively considering as lower energy states. Okay, beta is higher energy state. So in this slide, we are clearly, mentioned the nuclear states of, given atoms or given molecules. Remember, So the nucleus is in resonance means when it is irradiated with the radio frequency protons having the energy equals to the energy difference between the spin states. So in the earlier slides, we have clearly mentioned that the nuclear spins are existed in two states. One is alpha states and another one is beta states. Usually alpha states are having a lower energy than the beta states. Okay, so these two states are separated by certain energy. That means that is delta E. Okay, so suppose uh, if we irradiate with the radio frequency protons having the energy equals to the energy difference delta E between the spin states, uh, then only the resonance takes place. I mean, nucleus undergo resonance. Remember, so that means the alpha spins are flips to the beta states. Okay, alpha states nuclear spins are flipped to the beta states. So I mean flip alpha state to beta state. Uh, these, I mean, nucleus require, I mean, energy, certain energy. So, if we supply certain, I mean, required energy to the nucleus or protons, okay. So, that kind of flipping takes place. That is what the resonance. Okay, so that means a nucleus is in resonance. It is possible when it is irradiated with the radio frequency protons having the energy equals to the energy difference between the spin states. Okay, so as I told in the earlier slide, placing these type of atoms or nuclei in a very strong magnetic field, they separate them into two groups. One is alpha group and another one is beta group. Okay, so this is possible only applied magnetic field, after applied magnetic field only. Okay, so spins are aligned. So some I mean spins are normally aligned with the field. They are said to be alpha states. Some spin states are aligned against this field, which are said to be a beta state. Okay. So this kind of, I mean, alignments are possible only after the application of magnetic field only. Okay, now let us move on to the chemical shift. Here the chemical shift means change in the energy needed to flip the protons are called chemical shift. Okay, so the location of chemical shift on NMR spectrums are measured from the reference point. Remember that the hydrogen in the standard reference compound that is tetramethyl silane CH3 4 times Si. Okay, uh, the amount of energy necessary to flip proton in the TMS is assigned the arbitrary value of 0 delta. So therefore, it is taken as a reference compound for NMR spectra. And chemical shifts are measured in parts per million magnetic field strength difference, that is delta scale, relative to the TMS. Okay, TMS peak will be observed at 0 ppm magnetic field strength difference delta scale. Okay, so and again de-shielded proton concern. De-shielded proton absorbs downfield on the NMR spectrum at the lower magnetic field strength than the uh, shielded protons. So this de-shielded protons are occur away from the tetramethylsilane peak. Okay, so therefore it is de-shielded and which will absorb downfield on the NMR spectrum. Okay, so this is about chemical shift of a particular uh, molecule. In other words, chemical shift is defined as the position of NMR absorptions also. In the earlier slide, I told changes in the energy needed to flip proton is also called as chemical shift, or else we can define as chemical shift is the position of NMR absorption. So sometimes the examiner they may ask this question for 2 marks. That time you can write the both. I mean, he can write any of the definitions. Either I mean this one chemical shift is the position of NMR absorptions, or the changes in the energy needed to flip the protons are called chemical shift. Okay, and this chemical shift depends on electron density. Remember, electron density in the vicinity of hydrogen atoms. Okay, how many of electrons? I mean, density, electron cloud in the vicinity of hydrogens. This will be affected by the molecular structure of molecule. So remember, so more in the vicinity. I mean, uh, it will be shielded. Okay, so if in the vicinity of hydrogen the electron densities are less, in such circumstances they are de-shielded. So this is only the idea. One could, I think, distinguish the de-shielded and protons and shielded protons. Normally, de-shielded protons are having, I mean, less electron density, um, and shielded protons are having more electron density. So in the vicinity of hydrogen atom, we have to look into the electron density in the vicinity of hydrogen atom. So this parameter helps us to, I mean, distinguish this de-shielded protons and shielded protons. Okay, so therefore this electron density is affected by the molecular structure of molecule. And another thing is chemical shifts are reported on horizontal axis, x-axis of the spectrum, the delta scale, which is in terms of parts per million from the reference. Okay, reference is tetramethylsilane. Here it is best illustrated with uh, example like methanol. Methanol has two types of protons. One is three methyl protons. Okay, another one is hydroxyl protons. So these two are the two different sets of protons. They are non-equivalent. So methyl protons are observed at higher field or upfield regions, and hydrogen attached to the oxygen. Hydroxyl protons are more de-shielded, which are observed at lower field regions or downfield regions. with reference to the tetramethylsilane. Tetramethylsilane is um, having arbitrarily, it has zero delta values. Okay, so it is added to the solutions and arbitrarily assigned a chemical shift of zero. All the other signals are reported relative to that of relative to that position. Okay, so this is the structure of tetramethylsilane. Four methyl groups are attached to the uh, silicon. Okay, atom. Since electron density is the determining factor in the chemical shift observed, dipole in the molecule will have an effect in the donating or removing electron from the vicinity of given protons. This effect is described as shielding and deshielding. More electron in the proton vicinity, so that must be having a small dipole effect. Okay. So if less electron in the proton vicinity, dipole effect is increased. So normally, if the dipole effect is more in certain such circumstances, de-shielding takes place. Dipole effect is minimum in such circumstances, shielding takes place. De-shielding is less electron in the proton vicinity. Shielding is more electron in the proton vicinity. So this is what, based on these informations, one could, I think, characterize, one could, I think, distinguish shielded protons and de-shielded protons. De-shielded. In this slide, I have compiled best example to illustrate this shielded and de-shielded protons. Here, this is methanol. Methanol is an best example here, in which two types of protons are available. One is the methyl protons. They are more shielded because therefore it is absorbed at higher field or high field regions. Okay. Um, in another protons like uh, hydroxyl proton, this is less shielded because it is attached with the more electronegative oxygen atom. Okay, so vicinity vicinity towards electron density towards this hydrogen atom is very less. Therefore, they are less shielded and which absorb at lower field regions. So strong dipole pulling electron away from the hydrogen atom will take place in that, because oxygen is um, uh, attached with hydrogen. Okay, so therefore electron density is reduced near the protons, so it is de-shielded. In another methyl case, absolutely it is having no dipoles. Therefore, the maximum electron density near the proton in CH3 will be available. Therefore, they are shielded. Okay. Conclusion is that shielded proton absorb energy or absorb radiations at higher field frequency, while the de-shielded protons will absorb at lower field frequency. Therefore, proton affected by the proximity of the different functional group will absorb at different field. Okay. Therefore, the difference in the dipole moment. This can be used to identify the structure of molecule. More is the dipole, I mean, the protons are less shielded. Okay, so no dipole means maximum electron density near the protons are available, therefore they are shielded. Okay, so proximity of electron density as well as I mean dipole effect through these different protons are distinguished. One is more shielded, another one is less shielded. Otherwise, shielded protons or de-shielded protons. Like that one can uh, identify, or like that one can classify. Okay. The following generalization is applied to the shielding and deshielding of the protons in molecules. So the first one is electronegative atoms such as nitrogen, oxygen, halogens deshield the hydrogens. The extent of deshielding is proportional to the electronegativity of the heteroatoms. Okay, so because nitrogen to oxygen, oxygen to halogen, the electronegativity values are different because the halogens are more electronegative than oxygen and nitrogen. Suppose if your proton is, um, I mean, proton is nearer to halogen atoms, in such circumstances, uh, it will be more, I mean, uh, de-shielded. Okay, so electrons on the aromatic ring, double bonded atoms, triple bonded atoms, de-shield the attached hydrogens. Remember, and carbonyl group de-shield the hydrogens on adjacent side. Benzylic and allylic hydrogens are also de-shielded. Okay, remember because of this resonance. Okay, so then electropositive atoms such as silicon shield the hydrogens. Okay, so tetramethyl silane, it is more shielded, isn't it? So it is almost zero tetramethyl silane. So therefore, such, I mean, electropositive. If suppose if your proximity, I mean, your hydrogen is um located nearer to the electropositive atoms, then it is shielded. If your proximity towards electronegative atoms, they are shielded. Okay, so hydrogens attached to the chloropropene ring and those situated in the pi cloud of an aromatic systems are strongly shielded. Okay, I think these are the generalizations applied to the shielding and deshielding. So while distinguishing the shielding protons and deshielding, we need to concentrate on these points, which will help you to, I think, characterize shielded and deshielded protons. Then go for the peak area. Peak area is the area under the peak is directly proportional to the number of equivalent hydrogens giving rise to the signal. Number of equivalent hydrogens. Okay, giving rise to the signal. And again, another line is also be um represented. So another line looks like steps, usually appears on the NMR spectrum. It is integral line. Okay, so sigmoidal line will be there. Okay, this line is used to determine the number of hydrogen responsible for the given adsorption. Okay, or signals. It is relative scale. So if only one signal appears in the spectrum, this line is usually not present. If your multiple splitting is observed in your signals, then this type of, I mean, line is drawn. Here in this presentation slide, I have compiled NMR spectra of methyl tertiary butyl ether compound. Here, two types of protons are available in this methyl tertiary butyl ether. Uh, Methoxy protons and tertiary butyl protons. Tertiary butyl proton means methyl protons. There will be nine methyl group protons are there, and methoxy concerned three protons are there. So, uh, as I said in the earlier discussions, earlier slide, however, uh, only one signal is observed in NMR spectra. The integral line will not be appear. Remember, if there is more than one signal is observed in the spectrum, the integral line will appear and help to determine the structure of certain group. As far as this, I mean, molecule concerned, we are getting two peaks, therefore integral lines are observed. And again, the methoxy methyl protons are um, occupy the two spaces of the integral lines, and tertiary butyl protons are occupied six spaces of uh, integral line. That indicates, I mean, in term 6, it is tertiary butyl protons are uh, occupied by six spaces, isn't it? Six spaces means it is almost threefold greater than methoxy proton. Methoxy protons are occupied by two spaces. So tertiary butyl protons are occupied by uh, six spaces. Therefore, that tertiary butyl protons are nine, approximately 9 protons are available on that carbon atom. Remember, so with the help of these idea, one could able to calculate the number of protons, equivalent protons in a molecule. In turn, calculate the structure of the functional group. Okay, so this is how I think this integral line helps us to identify the functional group. And the integration is relative between the signals. Okay, the more hydrogen of one kind, the more intense the corresponding absorptions relative to the other one. As I said, even methoxy protons are consumed or occupying two spaces of integral line. This tertiary butyl protons are occupied by six spaces, so therefore it is almost three times greater than intensity is three times greater. So um, two spaces for three protons, like that six spaces for obviously for nine protons. So this is how I think one could interpret the NMR spectra of given compound. Okay. Then go for the coupling constant. So coupling constant means the central line spacing between the peak. Central line spacing between the peak in the cluster. It is. Okay, the space from the middle of the one peak in a set to the middle of the second peak in that set. Okay, the space from the middle of the one peak in a set to the middle of second peak in the middle of second peak in that set, caused by the spin-spin coupling, is always a constant. It is, in other words, it is the distance found between the lines in the pattern due to the splitting. So this constant values are called coupling constant, and which are expressed in terms of hertz only. The J values depends upon the structural relationship among the coupled hydrogens, and often used to help to create the possible structural formula. So I have quoted one example here. One is cis compound, another one is trans compound. Okay. So normally this is bromochloroethane. Okay. If we look at the structure of isomeric structures like bromochloroethane compound in any ethylene or any pair of geometric isomers, so cis or trans, J value will always be greater in the trans arrangement than the cis arrangement. So in addition, J value will vary in a regular manner with respect to the electronegativity of the substituents also. So we need to concentrate on these two things. One is geometric isomers, another one is electronegativity atoms, the electronegativity of the substituents. So which will influencing the peak. Okay. So let me discuss about the uh, 2 methyl 2-butanone NMR spectra. Uh, from this NMR spectra, uh, I just conclude like when the two different protons are coupled, remember, okay, when the two different protons are coupled, coupling constant for one proton will be same as that of another proton. Remember, in this 2-methyl 2-butanone NMR spectra, there will be a three different environmental protons are there. They are labeled as A, B, and C. So here C is coupled with B. C is not coupled with A. A B is also not coupled with, because they are 4 sigma bond away, 4 sigma bond away. Okay, so only B and C are coupled each other. Therefore, coupling constant for B and C are same. Uh, it will be approximately about 7 hertz splitting distance. 7 hertz is for pre-rotations along the carbon-carbon bond. Okay, so uh, this is only for less hindered, I think, functional group attached with the carbon. This is only possible if there is a bulky or I mean bulky rings or bulky substitution on the carbon. So there will be hindered rotations will be there. In such circumstances, it will be different than 7 hertz. It is only for pre-rotations. In this molecule, one can observe, I think, pre-rotations between the carbon-carbon bond. Therefore, it has a 7 hertz uh, coupling constant. Thank you. Uh, so this slide shows coupling constants of different, I think, uh, groups, specific groups. So the coupling constant can help to identify the specific group. Suppose if the rotations about carbon-carbon bond is averaged, okay, like 7 hertz, that indicates this carbon is less hindered by, I think, substitutions. Okay, if the rotations is hindered, suppose by the substitution of ring or bulky group, other splitting constant may be observed. If it is pre-rotation means I mean simple groups are, I mean, attached with the carbon atoms. Okay, in such circumstances, uh, I mean, the 7 hertz are coupling constants observed. Okay, if it is 7 hertz, then carbon-carbon rotations around carbon-carbon is free. If it is, I mean, different than 7 hertz, then it hindered rotations are uh, occur, and the splitting constant may be different. Okay, maybe either different other splitting constant may be observed. And then cis and trans isomers, geometrical isomers concern. Normally cis has a smaller coupling constant values than trans. And again geminal hydrogens. Okay, so two hertz splitting constants are possible. Ortho substitutions 8 hertz, metal substitutions 2 hertz, and allylic hydrogen 6 hertz. I hope with the help of these coupling constant also one could identify the specific groups present in the molecule. Okay, so uh, therefore I have compiled these values to understand the, I think, structural, how one could elucidate the structure of molecules. Okay, these are the idea we need to understand. Okay, while solving proton NMR spectrum of given molecule. Okay, coupling constant also helps. Again, your integral lines also helps certain extent. And, shielded protons and de-shielded. By knowing all these information, uh, collectively one could, I mean, simplify the structure. Okay, and then go for the peak splitting. This is what spin-spin splitting. Most chemical shifts. now aren't single peak, but rather group or cluster of peaks. Remember, these groups and clusters gather because spin-spin coupling, which results from the magnetic field of hydrogen atoms on the adjacent carbon atoms, reinforcing and or opposing the applied magnetic fields on the individual proton in the molecules. Here, in this example, I have quoted two different photons, HA and HB. They are uh, they are not equivalent protons. Okay, non-equivalent protons. The chemical shift for HA atom splits into three peaks because this is um, coupled with two non-equivalent protons. Okay, so the chemical shift for HA atom splits into three peaks because in the HA is I mean coupled with two HB of this carbon, isn't it? So that means neighboring protons are two here. HB, two HBA is present nearer to the HA. Proximity towards this one is 2 HB. So therefore, N plus 1 splitting takes place. N plus 1 means uh, 2 protons are there. Therefore, 2 plus 1, 3 peaks are observed for HA. So then chemical shifts for HB concerned. HB is proximity towards HB is one proton. HA is there, isn't it? So therefore, N plus 1 according to N plus 1. So this HB atoms is splits into 2p. Okay, neighboring towards HB neighboring proton is only one neighboring proton is there. Nearer to HB, one proton is there, isn't it? So therefore, it will split into the 2p. Okay, chemical shift for HA is split into the 3p, and while that of chemical shift for HB atoms is split into 2p. Then spin-spin splitting. Two adjacent carbon atoms having chemically or environmentally different protons, so non-equivalent protons, signal for given set of hydrogens on the carbon will be coupled into a more than one line. So this will follow n plus 1 rule. Okay, lines of signal will be n plus 1. So n stands for neighboring hydrogen. So this is all depending on the neighboring hydrogen present in the molecule. Okay, suppose only one neighboring proton is there, doublet. Two protons are present, triplet. Three protons are present, quadruplet. Huh? So like that, splitting takes place. So this slide shows spin-spin splitting of given molecule. Uh, Here it is 112 tribromo ethane molecule. In this, two different protons are available. So one is labeled as HA and another one is labeled as HB. Here HB are identical. Both HBs are identical. Have one neighboring proton, that is HA. Therefore, signal for HB will be split into 2 because by applying n plus 1 rule, so uh, neighboring proton will be 1 in that. So therefore it will be 1 plus 1, 2. Therefore HB will be split into 2. Okay. So like that, whereas in the case of HB, HA concerned, HA has two neighboring protons. Okay. Two identical neighboring protons are there. Therefore by applying n plus 1 rule, so it will be 2 plus 1, therefore HA will be split into three lines. That is called triplet. So for HA triplet peak, HB doublet peak will be obtained. So this is because of spin-spin coupling. Okay. So the number of lines in the signals are called multiplicity. Coupling between the proton is mutual. Okay. Coupling effect between the proton is limited to the neighboring protons. Further away will be usually have no effect. Suppose except due to conjugations. So none equivalent protons on the same carbon will be coupled. Okay, that means protons are separated by four or more bonds. Separated by it is away. It is little bit away from the coupling process. So in such circumstances, splitting doesn't take place. Okay, protons are separated by four or more bonds. Okay, if they are separated by less than four bonds, then splitting will be there. Separation, if it is separated by three bonds, three sigma bonds, then splitting is there. If it is separated by four or more bonds, then splitting doesn't take place. It has less effect on splitting. Okay, it it will be less influence. What exactly? Okay, so general splitting rules I have been compiled here. Four rules are there. Equivalent protons do not split each other. So in the earlier example, two HAs are there, one HB is there. HA and HA will not be coupled here. So therefore, equivalent protons do not split each other. Even if it is proximity of atoms. Okay. Protons bonded to the uh, same carbon will split each other if they are non-equivalent. Remember, if they are equivalent, do not split each other. If they are non-equivalent, they are split each other. Okay, protons on adjacent carbon normally will split each other because they are in the different environment unless they are equivalent. Okay, protons separated suppose by four or more bonds will not split each other. I think these are the four general splitting rules are there. With the help of these four rules, I think splitting could be explained. So here I have quoted the best example to uh, illustrate the above considerations. So the coupling effect between the protons is limited to the neighboring protons. Further away will usually have no effect. Okay, coupling effect between the proton is limited to the neighboring protons also influence, and further which is away uh, from the protons usually have no effect except due to conjugation. That means non-equivalent protons on the same carbon will be coupled also. Okay. So here see fourth hydrogen. Okay, will not be coupled with first hydrogen because they are separated by the four sigma bonds. They are away each other. Isn't it? Spin splitting is not normally observed because they are their proximities are away. Okay, they are far away from each other. So therefore, splitting doesn't take place. And in the second illustration, see there will be I have mentioned also. Okay, so first and third protons, these are in the proximity. Okay, um, they are in the limit of coupling. Okay, so these two protons, for example, this one and this one. Okay, protons are attached with carbon 1 and carbon 3. They are in the range of separated by 3 sigma. So bonds. Therefore, protons on these two carbon are coupled because they are 3 bond away. Okay. Then, while comparing this with other one, proton 1 and proton 4, these two are far away from each other. They are separated by 4 sigma bonds. Protons on these two carbons are not coupled because the 4 bonds away they are. So, as I told in the earlier slide, so splitting takes place on certain criteria. Okay, we need to concentrate. If they are non-equivalent, then splitting takes place. Even in the uh, same hydrogen atoms, even in the same carbon atom. Okay, if they are present, non-equivalent protons are present in same carbon also splitted over. Okay, and another one is proximity of hydrogens. If they are uh, more than 4 bonds away, then no splitting takes place. If they are 3 bonds away, then splitting takes place. Okay, so this is an idea. So now let us move on to the one more important concept of NMR spectroscopy is the multiplicity of the signals, which is calculated based on n plus 1 rule. So the protons bonded to the same carbon will split each other if they are non-equivalent. Okay, so here and again the equivalent protons doesn't split each other also. Hmm? If they are non-equivalent, they split each other. Okay, protons on adjacent carbon atoms normally will split each other because they are in the different environment, of course. Okay, so while calculating this number of peak or multiplicity of the um, peak, one has to use, I mean, the number of non-equivalent protons present in the molecule, that to be protons separated for 4 or I mean less than 4 or more bonds. Okay, will split each other. Suppose protons separated 4 or more bonds will not split each other. Remember, so there I think proximity also important. Suppose if they are separated by 3 sigma bond, splitting takes place. If it is far away means separated 4 or more bonds, sigma bonds, 4 or more sigma bonds will not split each other. Remember, um, by knowing all these ideas, one could able to calculate the splitting pattern of particular molecule. Anyhow, there is uh, uh, no equivalent protons are present. Um, so only one peak observed, that is called singlet. Its intensity will be 1 only. That is, intensity of that peak or relative peak intensities are calculated by using Pascal triangle that I have compiled in third column. Remember, first column number of equivalent protons, um, second one is number of peaks. It is calculated by using n plus 1 rule. N plus 1 rule. So suppose if n value is 0, singlet. If n value is 1, doublet. N value is 2, I mean 2 in the sense 2 non-equivalent protons, then triplet is possible. 4 non-equivalent protons, quintet. 5 non-equivalent protons, sextet. 6 non-equivalent protons, septet. So they are distributed in different intensity also. So that could be calculated by using Pascal triangle. Okay, so here I will tell you how to write the Pascal angles clearly, because um, it is calculated strictly on the basis of certain rules. Okay, so even it is true for NMR spectra concerned also. Um, uh, till the days till the date, I mean, this Pascal triangle to the relative peak intensity of the symmetric multiplets are calculated. See if only one peak is there, its relative intensity, peak intensity will be 1. If 2, 1 is to 1. 3, 1 is to 2 is to 1. 4, it is 1 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. 5, 1 is to 4 is to 6 is to 4 is to 1. Uh, 6 peak, its relative intensity will be 1 is to 5 is to 10 is to 10 is to 5 is to 1. So this will be the relative peak intensity. So because your uh, peak is splitted into uh, 6 lines. Okay, each, I mean, the 6 lines are having this type of relative intensities. Okay, they are distributed uh, like uh, 1 is to 5 is to 10 is to 10 is to 5 is to 1. Okay, so here to construct this Pascal triangle, we must follow certain rules. So to build this, start with 1 at the top. Start with 1 at the top. Okay, so then continue placing the number below it in a triangular pattern. So then continue placing the number below it in a triangular fashion. Okay, so um, that means here different diagonal sequences as well as off diagonal sequences are there. This is second diagonal, this one is third diagonal sequence, remember. So this one is adds values. Okay, like that this side also. Okay, so this one is adds, these are the adds values. Adds values are filled with 1 1 1 only, remember. The first diagonal and first off diagonals are running numbers only. You just write 1 2 3 4 5 6 only. Here also off diagonal also 1 2 3 4 5 6 only. Remaining this remaining this 6 10 10 15 20 15s are calculated based on the, I mean, third rule. Okay, strictly we will follow third rule. I will tell you third rule. Each number is the number. Okay, each, so how do you calculate that? 6 is calculated based on the addition of above two values. Addition of above two, addition of the numbers directly above it. Addition of the numbers directly above it. So for calculating these two values, okay. So because these two values, I mean, this 6 is the number, okay, is the numbers directly above it added together. I mean, to get this 6, directly above numbers are 3 and 3. Yeah, these two are added together here to give 6. Like that 10, if I want to calculate this 10, these immediate above values 4 and 6 added together to give this one. So like that for this 10, add these two numbers. For this 15, add these two. Okay, so like that we have to calculate the, for this 15 we have to add these two values because these 10 and 5s are the directly above the numbers of 15. Okay, so therefore these two values are added. To get this 20, above this 20, 10 and 10 is there. Therefore, by adding these two, we get 20. Okay. Method is there. So this diagonal values, second diagonal values are running numbers. Third diagonal values are based on another method also. By adding these two values, we get 3. Okay. To get this 6, add these three values. Okay. To get this 10, add these 4 values. See, to get this 15, add these 5 values. So like that also calculate. See, for 3, add 1 and 2. 1 and 2. By adding these 2, we get 3. So like that 6, 1 plus 2 plus 3. Like 10, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Like 15, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Similarly, on the other side also, same calculations have to be utilized. Okay. Hmm? To get this 3, to get this 3, add these two values. To get this 6, add these 3 values. To get this 10, add these 4 values. To get this 15, add these 4 values, like that. Okay. Again, to get this 20, remember, like that. To get this 10, these 3 values. Okay. To get this 4, these 2 values, 1 and 3. So like that. Hmm? This is how I think construct Pascal triangle. Pascal triangle is very important one to know the, I think, relative peak intensity distributions of the multiplet. Okay, now let us discuss about the NMR spectra of ethyl bromide molecule. So this molecule is prescribed for your syllabus also. Uh, Ethyl bromide means molecular formula of ethyl bromide is CH. So here this ethyl bromide molecule is having two different protons. One is labeled as A, second one is labeled as B. Okay. So this CH2 protons are called methylene protons. CH3 protons are referred as methyl protons. Okay. By applying n plus 1 rule, we will get number of splitting for the methylene as well as methylene proton by applying n plus 1 rule. Suppose methylene protons are coupled with methyl protons. So this CH2 methylene group is splits into, okay, uh, splits into 3 plus 1 splits into 4 peaks, because number of neighboring protons with respect to CH2 is 3, therefore it will be 4. Okay, so methylene protons are splits into 4 peaks. Okay, so this is observed in between the region of 3.3 to 3.5 ppm. This is quadrate. Okay, this peak is methylene protons. Methylene means CH2 protons. Okay, this is for CH2. And let us move on to the another peak splitting of molecule, that is methyl proton. This is for methyl proton. This is labeled as B. So as far as methyl concerned, uh, number of splitting n plus 1 gives, number of splitting n plus 1 gives, for CH3 group, there will be two neighboring protons. Okay, both are non-equivalent each other, therefore they splits into triplet because two neighboring protons are there. Therefore CH3 protons are splits into CH3 protons are splits into 2 plus 1 equals to 3. Okay, this is for CH3 splitting. CH3 splits into 3 peak. Methylene proton splits into 4 peak. Okay, so this is based on spin-spin splitting, spin-spin coupling. This is because of spin-spin coupling. Remember. Okay. So in this ethyl bromide, there will be two different types of protons are there. One is CH2 protons and another one is CH3 proton. CH2 protons are labeled as A, CH3 protons are labeled as B. Okay, CH2 protons are splits into 4 weak. That means the neighboring two protons are 3 protons are available. Therefore, 3 plus 1 gives rise to 4. Okay, as far as CH3 proton concerned, splitting of CH3 concerned, there will be a two neighboring protons are there. Therefore, n plus 1 rule gives 3 protons. So, this is what huh? NMR spectra of NMR spectra of ethyl bromide. Okay, so this is for the splitting of this one. Okay, so I mean methyl protons are again mentioned in pink color. So this another CH2 protons are labeled with navy blue. Okay, there will be two types of protons, methylene protons and methyl protons. Methylene protons are split into quadret, methyl protons are split into triplet. Okay, the NMR spectrum of 1-bromo methane zoomed in the explanation of the signals are shown in offset plots. These inside another, picture I have given, that is zoomed form. This will be offset plot of this one. Actually, only these two. Uh, Methyl and methylene protons are observed in NMR spectroscopy. Suppose if we zoomed into for zoomed for high resolutions, there will be a splitting one can observe clearly. Okay, this is an idea regarding proton NMR of ethyl bromides. Okay. Okay, now let us move on to the another type of NMR spectrum of another molecule, ethanol. Ethanol molecular formula is C2H5OH. Okay, so earlier we have discussed about ethyl bromides. Similarly, this one is ethanol. Ethyl bromide means halogen compound. It is ethanol is alcoholic compound. Okay, open chain. Uh, organic molecule. It is saturated organic molecule. Molecular formula will be CH3 CH2 OH. This is methanol. Otherwise, it is C2H5 OH also. Okay. So in this ethanol molecule, there will be three different types of protons are there. Okay. One is labeled as A. This is methyl proton. Here it is methylene protons. This is C. This is C. This is C. Methyl protons are labeled as ABC. Ethanol protons are labeled as ABC. There will be three different types of protons are there. One is methyl protons. This is methyl proton. This B is labeled for methylene protons. This is OH group protons, hydroxyl group proton it is. Okay, so this will be hydroxyl group proton. This is for methylene proton CH2. I mean it is B. It is labeled as B. This is C. This is A. This is methyl proton, this is methylene proton, and this one is hydroxyl group protons. So let us go for the number of splitting in that. For CH3 splitting concerned, there will be two neighboring CH2 protons are there, methylene protons are there. For methyl group, methylene protons are available. So the by applying n plus 1 rule for CH3 group, it will be number of splitting will be 3. Remember, two neighboring protons are there, therefore it is 3. So the methylene protons are split into triplet, 3 peak. Okay, then go for CH2 proton. CH2 proton concerned, there will be a two methyl protons are available. So 3 protons are there, therefore n plus 1 rule gives 3 plus 1 means 4. There will be 4 peak. Understood? So for methyl group, triplet peak is available. For methylene protons, quadruplet peaks are observed. Okay, and remaining is hydroxyl proton. This is um, I mean proton OH, I mean groups are not affected by the neighboring protons. Remember, this OH is having different environment because this is not affected by the methyl or methylene protons. These methyl protons are far away from hydroxyl. Okay, there is no chance for spin splitting, but as far as CH2 and OH2 protons concerned, this is I mean these are not affected by the hydroxyl protons. Okay, so therefore hydroxyl protons are splits into, I mean the hydroxyl peak is singlet, methylene peak is quadrat, methyl peak is triplet based on the n plus 1 rule. Okay, so this is the high resolution proton NMR spectrum of ethanol showing the splitting pattern of each of the three packs using n plus 1 rule. It is possible to interpret the splitting pattern. Now let us go for the third example. This is proton NMR of acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde molecular form CH3 C double bond OH. Okay. So in this acetaldehyde molecule, remember there will be two types of protons. One is aldehyde protons. This is labeled as A. Okay, or else labeled as 1 A or 1. This is B. Okay. So there will be two types of protons are available. One methyl protons and another one is aldehyde proton. Okay. So this CH3 group has one neighboring proton. Remember. Okay. So therefore, this methyl protons are split into, as per as the CH3 proton concerned, there will be one neighboring proton that is of aldehyde proton. Therefore, after applying n plus 1 rule, we are getting uh, 1 plus 1 means doublet. Okay, neighboring, we have to count the neighboring protons. Suppose if we are calculating the splitting pattern of particular molecule, we have to we have to calculate the neighboring protons. Remember, so for CH3 there will be a doublet. For aldehyde proton, for this CHO splitting concern, there will be a 3 protons. Therefore, n plus 1 rule gives 3 plus 1 gives rise to 3 plus 1 gives rise to quadrant. Okay, so therefore CHO concerned, huh, it splits into 4 peaks. CH3 protons are splits into 2. Okay, so therefore, for CH3 protons doublet, aldehydic protons are splits into quadrant. So this is about acetaldehyde concern. Okay, again the intensity concerned, it is 1 is to 1. For CH3 protons are splits into a 1 is to 1. The ratio, this is calculated based on Pascal triangle, as I discussed in the earlier presentations. Okay, as far as this uh, aldehyde proton concerned, there will be a 4 peak. They are distributed as 1 is to 3 is to 1. Resonance splitting gives a 1 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1 quadrant in terms of the intensity. Okay. This is about the NMR, proton NMR of acetaldehyde. NMR spectrum of proton NMR spectrum of ethyl acetate is CH3COO CH2 CH3. Ethyl acetate it is C2H5 CH3COO. Okay, CH3COO C2H5. It is ethyl acetate. Okay, here there will be three different environmental protons are there. They are labeled as A, B, C. A is called acetate ion methyl. It is here two methyl groups are there. One is ethyl methyl ethyl group methyl protons. It is labeled as C. Acetate group methyls are labeled as A, and another one is methyl group. This is methylene group. This is B. A, B, C. Okay. Suppose if we go through the low resolution NMR spectra, it gives simply as, I mean three peaks for these protons. In this low resolution, splitting will not be resolved. Okay, so we are getting simple three peaks are observed. If we go for the low resolution spectrum, suppose if your NMR spectroscopy, NMR spectrometer is 300 or 600 megahertz uh, proton NMR spectrometer, in such circumstances in which the splitting pattern was clearly observed, they are high resolution spectrum. So in which one could able to identify the, I mean, splitting pattern of particular uh, hydrogens. So as I said in the molecule, three types of environments are there: methyl of acetate group, methyl of ethyl group, and methylene of ethyl group. Okay, these three protons are there. Proton A is observed at 2.04 ppm. Methyl protons are observed at 4.10 ppm, and methyl protons of ethyl molecule group is observed at 1.26. Okay, so splitting pattern concerned. If we go for the CH3 of uh, acetate group, CH3 of acetate group is not having neighboring protons. The protons, neighboring protons are away from the, I mean, spin-spin coupling. They are um, 4 bond away from the protons. So therefore, 4 sigma bond away from the, uh, I mean, this proton. Okay, one, two, three, and one more from this one. 4 bonded away. This CH3 protons are 4 bonded away. Therefore, there is no splitting at all. If as far as methylene group concerned, there will be uh, 3 neighboring protons. Therefore, this CH2 methylene protons are splits into quadrate. Methylene protons are splits into quadrate. Methyl of ethyl group is splits into triplet, because two neighboring protons are there. One more is methyl group of acetate group. This is splits in. This has no neighboring protons. Therefore, no splitting occurs. Therefore, singlets are observed. And as far as the peak intensity concerned, Pascal triangle through one could identify the, intensity pattern of particular splitting. So the methyl protons are splits into 1 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. Their intensity ratios are distributed like that. So this CH2 methylene protons are, intensity of methylene protons are 1 is to 2 is to 1. This is singlet. Okay, so intensity of that singlet is taken as 1. So I hope this is about NMR spectrum of ethyl ethanoate, or else it is ethyl acetate. Now let us move on to the toluene. Toluene means C6H5CH3. You can observe two types of splitting. One from aromatic protons, another one from methyl groups. Here it is labeled as methyl groups are labeled as A. Aromatic protons are labeled as B, C, and D. Uh, as far as aromatic proton concerned, uh, the carbon number, okay, 2 and 6. Carbon number 2 and 6 are equivalent, and 3 and 5 is also equivalent, and this is another uh, environmental protons. Here in aromatic compound itself, aromatic benzene ring itself, three different types of protons are there. They are labeled as 2 and 6, 2 equals to 6, and 3 equals to 5 and 4. Okay. Um, and methyl protons are labeled as A, B, C, D. Now let us move on to the splitting. Okay. In low resolution NMR spectrum concerned, only we are getting two peaks. Okay, that we have given in this diagram. Okay, so the aromatic protons are observed in the region of 7 to 7.38 ppm. So this peak is multiplied because here five protons are there. They are coupled to give multiplets. Okay, as far as methyl protons in the methyl protons are in the toluene molecule. They splits into I mean they are not coupled with aromatic protons. Therefore, we are getting singlet here. One for this methyl group. Another one is for aromatic groups. Okay, aromatic protons. Aromatic protons are peak. Aromatic proton peaks are observed at 7 to 7.38 ppm. Methyl group of toluene is observed at 2.34 ppm. This is more shielded region. CH3 groups are observed at more shielded region, and aromatic protons are observed at uh, less shielded area. Okay, in practice, remember, however, all three aromatic protons groups have a similar chemical shift and their signal overlaps substantially, making such detailed analysis difficult. Okay, in this case, we would refer to the aromatic part of the spectrum as a multiplet. Remember, when we start trying to analyze the complex splitting pattern into a larger molecule, we gain an appreciation for why scientists are willing to pay large sum of money for higher field NMR instruments. Okay, quite simply, the stronger our magnet is, the more resolutions we get in our spectrum. Where magnet is stronger, more resolutions we get in our spectrum. And in the 100 megahertz instruments, with the magnet of approximately 2.4 Tesla field strength, it is okay. 12 ppm frequency window in which we can observe proton signals is 1200 hertz wide only. Okay, in 500 megahertz instruments. Okay, 12 Tesla instrument. However, the windows is 600 hertz. Remember, 6000 hertz. For 100 megahertz, only the signals range are 1200 hertz wide. Okay, 500 megahertz case, 6000 hertz, five times wider it is. Remember, in this sense, NMR instruments are like digital cameras and HD TVs. Better resolution means more informations and clear pictures are available. So, in our kernel protons, as I said in the beginning, in the aromatic proton itself, there will be a three different environments: HB protons, HC protons, and HD protons. Remember, Hb proton concerned only one neighboring proton is there, therefore it splits into doublet. Okay, for Hb doublet. For Hc concerned, there will be two neighboring protons are there, Hd and Hb. This splits into three because triplet. As far as this HD also triplet because it has three neighboring protons. This has uh, this has two, this has two, this has one. Okay, Hb has one neighboring proton, splits into two. Hc has two neighboring protons, therefore three. HD is also having two neighboring protons splits into three peaks. Okay, so in high resolution peak, high resolution instruments like 600 megahertz instrument, one could able to identify, or one could able to distinguish a doublet of HB, triplet of HC, and triplet of HD. Otherwise, if your instrument is 100 megahertz, only we could get two peaks in the figure 1. Otherwise, splitting pattern will be resolved like that. Okay, so this is about aromatic proton Hb to Hd. This is about methyl protons, because methyl protons are not having neighboring, so therefore no splitting, only one peaks are observed. It is more shielded, and this one is less shielded. Okay, chemical shift concern. Thank you. Okay, now let us discuss about the splitting pattern of acetophenone in NMR spectrum. Okay, C6H5, C6, C6H5, C double bond O, CH3. Okay, this molecule is having two different types of protons. One is alkyl group protons, another one is aryl group protons. Okay, so alkyl groups are labeled as A. This alkyl protons or methyl protons uh, having no neighboring protons, so therefore it will not splitted here, so it will give you a single peak. Okay, so this is what methyl group um, splitting. As far as aromatic proton concerned, there will be a orthoprotons, metaprotons, and paraprotons. Orthoprotons are labeled as B, metaprotons are labeled as C. Okay, paraprotons are labeled as D. So here two ortho position protons are there. In this meta also again two protons are there, so they are equivalent, and this will be the paraprotons. Only one paraprotons, two metaprotons, and two orthoprotons are available in the aromatic ring. Okay, so this concerned orthoproton concerned, they splitted into two peak, because it has only one neighboring protons. Only metaproton is available within its uh, proximity. Therefore, it will be splits into two peak. Okay, ortho gives doublet. It means a doublet. This means two means it splits into two means it is a doublet. Okay, it is doublet. Okay, so for example, for this metaproton, there will be two neighboring. Therefore, it is a triplet. Okay. As far as this paraproton concerned, here again two protons are neighboring protons are available. For this again triplet. So for paraprotons triplet, metaprotons triplet, and orthoprotons doublet. Okay. So this is about this splitting pattern of aromatic. So again, there will be one more distinction is there, that is called de-shielded protons and that is de-shielded protons and shielded protons. Here, as far as de-shielding concerned, remember Ca3 groups are shielded one, more shielded it is. Aromatic protons are de-shielded because there will be a rule. Okay, so in the earlier discussions, I have made in following generalizations to apply the shielding and de-shielding of protons in the molecule. So what exactly it is? Suppose if your molecule is having, I think, electronegative atoms such as nitrogen, oxygens, and halogens, de-shield the hydrogens. Okay, this extent of de-shielding proportional to the electronegativity of the heteroatom and its proximity to the hydrogens. Okay, so in this oxygen molecule, oxygen is there, carbonyl carbon, oxygen is there. Its proximity towards the aromatic ring as well as carbonyl group de-sheets the hydrogens on the adjacent carbons because it is electropositive carbon. Remember, so oxygen is more electronegative than carbon, therefore electron densities are um, pulled towards oxygen. So therefore, I mean, because of this electronegativity atom also and electrons on the aromatic ring, double bonded atoms and the triple bonded atoms de-shield the attached hydrogens also. Mainly because of these two reasons and aromatic electrons are de-shielded and methyl groups are shielded because in its proximity, I mean, electron densities are more. Okay, so then this Ca3 is shielded, more shielded here. Okay, so dipole character is also more. Okay, dipole is less in that Ca3 group. Okay, so that is why Ca3 is more shielded rather than aromatic ring. Okay, here ring current is there, isn't it? So that will also influencing the uh, de-shielding of aromatic protons. Okay, so this Ca3 gives a singlet which is observed in the region of 2.62, okay, ppm. So orthoprotons are doublet here. So that is observed in the region of this is observed in the region of 7.9 something. Okay, ppm. So this second meta protons are observed in the region of 7.6. Okay, then this para protons triplet. Okay, para and metas are triplet here. Ortho is doublet. Okay, this one is singlet. Totally four peaks are observed. One for methyl group protons, other three for aromatic rings. Okay. If your instrument like NMR instrument is I mean, having a 600, if your NMR is a 600 megahertz, then in such situation or such case, more resolved peaks are observed. Okay, because high resolutions are possible in the detectors also. Okay, that is what that kind of inbuilt. I mean. mm, Facility they have provided. Okay, again applied magnetic field also more. isn't it? High resolution in the sense applied magnetic field is more. Okay, this was the main reason for splitting. Resolved peaks are obtained at higher, I mean, uh, megahertz NMR spectrometers only. If your NMR is low megahertz, 100 megahertz or something 60 megahertz spectrometer, in such circumstances, only single peaks are observed in case if it is multiplied also. Okay, so that was the thing. Hmm. And splitting patterns are calculated based on the n plus 1 rule. Okay, so there should be neighboring protons. That must be in the um, proximity. Like if it is a if it is more than four bonded, I mean its distance is away from neighboring protons are away from the splitting protons. Then it is four bonded away. Then four or three bonded away. The no splitting takes place. Okay. uh, Unequivalent protons near the splitting protons, I mean coupling takes place. Due to that coupling, I think splitting is possible. So they are calculated based on the n plus 1 row. Okay, now let us discuss about the another NMR, proton NMR of acetaldehyde molecule. Okay, in this aromatic protons are available, methyl protons, and one more is NH protons. So three different protons are available here: aromatic protons, NH protons, and CH3. This is labeled as A. This is B. Aromatic protons are C, D, and E, labeled as. Orthoproton is C. Metaprotons are D. Paraprotons are E. Okay. So this broad peak is for NH. This shielded peak is for methyl, and remaining CDs are this one. So orthoprotons are this one. Orthoprotons are splitted to give doublet. Metaprotons are splitted to give triplet. Okay, this is ortho, this is meta, and this one is para. This is triplet. This is also triplet. This is doublet. Okay, so near this ortho position, only one meta protons are there, therefore it is doublet. Near this meta protons, ortho and para protons are there, therefore it is n plus 1 gives 3 p triplet, and again para protons, 2 meta protons are there equivalent. So therefore this is splitted into 3. Okay, anyhow, this is proton NMR of acetanilide. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Any doubts or queries, if you have, discuss it in my personal WhatsApp number 9841460621.